Hey guys, welcome back to MJ Homestead. I'm Mike. We're building some new and improved chicken tractors for this year. We had a lot more chickens than we did last year. Things are growing up pretty fast, so they're about ready to get kicked out of the brooder box and out into the outside here. So we built a hoop building this time. We'll show you this one real quick, and then we'll build the second one, and we'll let you watch that and see how we ended up putting this thing together and engineering it. I think it turned out actually really nice. We got that repurposed billboard material tarp on the outside, basically 3 hog panels to make the arch. It's a 8-foot by 10-foot frame. We put it on a Green Tree 2x4 or whatever. Made ourselves a door. I have a cattle handy panel in the back in order to sturdy up the back and actually have something for them, to keep them in and whatnot. But that's what we ended up with. We do have 2 wheels in the back, 2 small plastic wheels, and there's a couple eyelets we put in here or whatever. What we're going to do is if it gets like really windy or something like that, this thing I think is pretty sturdy. It'll probably handle most wind, but it is South Dakota, so you never know what it's going to get. If we have to, we'll turn those things horizontal and put stakes down on the ground and turn this thing into the wind. Otherwise, we're just going to use them to lift and move the thing with the hand cart. So we got our 2 wheels in the back. And that's that. This thing is pretty heavy. Pulling it without wheels under it would be about impossible without hooking it to a truck or something like that. But we'll get this thing out of here and we'll start building the second one. All right, we started our frame here or whatever. It's basically 10 feet long, 8 feet wide. We did measure back from our front of our board here or whatever. Measure back 103 inches and make a mark, because each one of those hog panels is 34 inches, so you get 102. We give ourselves an extra inch just because sometimes you need some slop. Sometimes the top of those panels have little nubs on them or whatever. They don't want to mesh up real good. The first one we had to actually overlap 2 of the hoops, so if we want to get away from doing that, we can. Alright, these panels basically have to get your frame screwed together. You'll just kind of arc them up into the outside of the 10-footers here or whatever. We wanted to show you that step, but it took both of us with both hands in order to do it, so we weren't able to show you that. But it'll just like a friction hold at first. Just use your back one, obviously. Set that one. Bring your other one in, next one in, set that one. We need to set them up too, so the outside bars or the vertical bars. Or if it was fencing, it'd be the horizontal bars, but those are on the outside. That way the ribs make sense and it drains better. But then you set your second one, just bend it up, or set one end and then bend it and snap it in there, so they're all hitting the floor. Then we just took a 1x4 and a bunch of screws. We did use some small fender washers too, to pull more evenly on the board or whatever. But screw that into your Green Tree 2x4 to hold these panels in, and they'll actually set pretty straight and everything. I mean, the arc looks pretty even and everything on both sides. It does a pretty good job. It surprised me. This actually doesn't take very long. I mean, we're maybe 15 minutes in right now. That's for stopping for filming and everything else too. But I'm able to stand in here. It's got to be 6 foot, probably about 6 foot, close to something like that. Then on the back here, we're gonna have basically a handy panel. It's a cattle handy panel. We have an 8-foot width, and this thing's right about 8 feet wide. I don't know, 54 tall, something like that. A little bit taller than the hog panels, but that'll solidify the back. And then also we'll throw some galvanized fencing staples into the back 2x4 there. Then we'll actually zip tie it to the rest of the structure. This is all zip tied together too. We use some like Gardner Bender black heavy-duty zip ties, so you don't poke holes in our tarp with wire or anything like that. We'll get to you on the next step here too. Alright, for our door, I almost screwed this up. I almost put our tarp over the top first, but you need to make sure your door frame's on before you put your tarp on. Anyway, we just, basically this is our center run here, whatever, for this fencing wire. Came out 2, whatever. Threw some 2x4s in here and just put a level on them and level them up. I'm assuming our garage floor is somewhat level. So plumb those up, and we kind of marked them to cut them. And we'll use some steel strapping. Use it for holding up plumbing and whatever else. You can get it at the hardware store or whatever, but we'll use this to hold the wire, to hold the actual fencing to these 2x4s, and then we'll screw them in the bottom end of that bottom green trait 2x4 on the front, then run a board across the top. We did get our handy panel zip tied up into place and fencing stapled down in the back, and then we just basically more zip ties again, some chicken wire in there because otherwise they'll be able to walk right through that cattle panel. The tarp will hold the outsides, and so any place that you have an opening you need to put some chicken wire. In any place there's wood we staple, and any other place we just kind of go ahead and zip tie it together. It's a temporary shelter. When we do go to stretch our tarp too, what we did was we'll throw the tarp over here. Obviously, I just shot some staples into a 2x4 just to hold it for now, and then I'll roll that up in there, and then we'll screw that to our base. When we do the other side, we'll do the exact same thing. We'll cut it long, staple it to a 2x4, roll it up, and then one of us will stand on the 2x4 and really stretch it, and then we'll drive our screws in for the tarp. Then I'll show you how we do the front of the tarp too when we go to trim that and the front of the building. Alright, we finished up our door framing. We just ran a 2x4 across the whole thing. If you do it like we did, if you use the same cattle panel or the same hog panels that we did, your spacing should be just about a little over 3 feet wide, which is a pretty decent sized door. You can get stuff in and out of there and easily walk in there and all that kind of stuff. Over our header board here, we did cut our tarp a little bit long. We just whatever was left over. This is a 10-foot long tarp, so you're gonna have a little bit left over by the time you're all done. We went ahead and left that full length and rolled a small, like a really thin board, like a furring strip or something would work, whatever you have laying around, an old piece of trim or something like that. Rolled it up just like we did on the sides, and then stapled it to our header board. So this part here will all be enclosed, and the sides will all be chicken wire, including the door. The whole front will be chicken wire then after this step. We did get our tarp stretched too. Same thing on the other side, just roll the board up in there, whatever. Stood down on it to tighten our tarp up and everything. Then blew some screws. I did use some little fender washers, like 3/16 opening, and by like maybe they're probably 1/2 inch or I don't know 3/4 something like that. Fender washers, and then blew those into the base. And so our tarp's on. We did cut our tarp a little bit long here too on the front. The back there's a doubled up. The seam is doubled up from the factory, and they make the billboard material, whatever. That's a double. It's got double thickness of the tarp already. So on the front, we want to wrap this around. When we tie our chicken wire to the fencing, we'll go ahead and tie it through this too, through both layers, and that way it'll be nice and secure, and this won't want to pull off or anything like that. I'll show you that when we get that done. Oops. All right, for our side panels, what we ended up doing, like we said, we cut our tarp a little bit long, and then tucked it over underneath here or whatever. Popped a little hole in there, and it zip tied directly to our poultry netting stuff or whatever you want to say, so it ties the whole thing together. The only thing you really have left is the other side of this, and building the door, which is pretty easy. Just some 1x4s, and to make just a frame, then just chicken wire over the top of that. Then putting our lifting lugs in the front and then our little axles in the back for the wheels. Alright guys, that's about it. That's all there is to it here. We did put our door on. The door's pretty simple. It's just a frame made out of 1x4s pretty much. We did put the horizontal 1x4s on the outside so they'd match up with these 2x4s that we already put on the header and along the bottom of the frame or whatever. Simple latch, some poultry netting, some hinges. There's a safety wire in case the wind blows, which it might. That type of thing. We did put some 1/2-inch eye bolts in here too. That's going to serve two purposes for us. It's going to give us something to put our hand cart lip underneath in order to lift it up. We got wheels in the back, lift it up and be able to drag the thing forward. Also, if we do get any really heavy winds or like thunderstorms, something like that, we kind of turn them horizontally and like pound some stakes and to stake it down to the ground. This thing's pretty heavy, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere under like normal circumstances, but here in the plains, we get some pretty nasty thunderstorms sometimes, so you never really know. And show you our wheels here around back. Just use the same exact thing. A couple of 1/2-inch eye bolts for that. These would be dual purpose too. We can stake the building down with these bolts, or put the wheels on. We're gonna have to use the wheels every single day, so that's what those things are for. It's actually actively raining here right now, and we're dry as a bone in here, so things working out pretty good. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Have a great day. Thank you.